Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Wealthy Conversations. I wanted to say wealthy Wednesdays, but Wealthy Conversations. I'm Kamari Ellis. I am the Finance Rebel. Again, happy Saturdays. I know you are probably looking at me a little side-eyed, right? A little weird because I'm like tremendously late. And listen, I believe in being accountable for everything. So I'm not just going to come on live and not acknowledge the fact that I was supposed to be on at 11:30 and I am on at almost 1 o'clock. Talk about tardy for the party. Hey guys, thank you for loving the hoodie. I don't know. I got some new merch in. Got a new shirt. I actually have some other stuff on the way as well with new logos. But listen, true to form, every Saturday we are here. We're going to have wealthy conversations. I've committed to doing these. And if I'm not here, I usually let everybody know. So if I'm not here, know, and I don't alert you, know that it is some type of emergency. But I'm here. I'm late. I'm acknowledging it. I'm addressing it. I didn't share this out anywhere. But I wanted to come to you and talk to you all about what's going on in the markets. It's a crazy day, but we're going to talk about a couple of things, right? So we're going to review the markets, review what's going on, talk about our stock of the week, which will be Snowfall or Snowflake. Snowfall is actually one of my favorite shows, but Snowflake just did an IPO, so we'll talk about that a little bit. Also want to talk about an article that I read this morning in Barron's, which is, I see you, Kaizen, which is, did COVID kill cash? Did COVID kill cash? So pretty interesting article with a couple of stock, I won't say recommendations because you know I am not recommending any stock or any investments, but some investments you should particularly look into as we go into more of this cashless society that we're moving into. All right. So as we start the top of the show, I want to say a quick shout out, rest in peace, to Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was a very, very, very strong advocate for equal rights, for women's rights. She was very much, in my opinion, on the right side of the fence when it came to social and legal matters as it relates to the citizens of the United States, especially as Black folks. And yes, her passing absolutely has me worried. Why does it have me worried? Because I'm no fan of the man in the White House right now. I call him the Cheeto Hitler impersonator. This isn't going to be a political show, but I'm going to say this. Please understand how and why the systems of government work. I don't think many people recognize just how impactful the Supreme Court is to our everyday life. Oftentimes we don't see the impacts of what happened in government, especially federal government. But please believe, many things that they work on, many things that they do have a lasting impact. Again, I'm Black, right? Most of my audience is Black. The Supreme Court ruled on Brown versus the Board of Education in Kansas, or Brown versus Kansas, right? That's one of the major milestones that they call the end of segregation. I call it the end of desegregation, but that's, my own thing. But that made it so that children, boys and girls, could be educated equally across this country. All right. That legislation also led the way for other pieces of legislation like the Civil Rights Act in either 64 or 65, the Fair Voting Rights Act of 64 or 65. I always get them confused, right? And the Fair Housing Act, which came in either 68 or 69. All of those things kind of played off of what happened on the Supreme Court. All right. So know that the Supreme Court is not just a pent up thing that we just kind of look at and marvel at. And these guys and gals, or ladies and gentlemen in black robes, do absolutely nothing. They impact our everyday lives. I don't think enough of us understand that. But that's me. That's my soapbox. I'm off of it. But yeah, just pay attention to it. Pay attention. Please pay attention, because they are trying to replace her before the election. And again, this is why government, this is why politics, this is why elections matter. This is why voting matters. So if they were to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with someone who was more favorable to the head Cheeto in charge, it could really look bad for black folks. I'm not going to sit here and fearmonger or anything like that. But again, the courts could repeal a lot of old legislation that has helped black people progress better in this country, right? Last 50, 60 years. And it can make the next 50, 60, 100 years a lot more difficult for not just black people, but for minorities across the board. That includes women, right? So be very mindful of that. Be very, very mindful of that. Kaizen Investor, I see your comment. You are past CP time, but we forgive you. Thank you for your forgiveness. I appreciate you. Hey, Cindy, how are you? We need to connect. Love and Sensibility, how are you? I think you're new. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cali Connection, how are you? Cali Connection, how you been? I can't say your name. Girls, I think that's what it says. And Business Savvy, how are you? Welcome, 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 everybody. Let me just get the welcomes out of the way, and then we can jump right into it. Hey, Chili, where you been, man? I ain't seen you in a while. Tesla's up, but they were down. They're nowhere near where they were when they split. All right. Apple's down. Apple's definitely down, right? That's because everybody was super duper excited about that split, not wondering if the split or if Apple as a stock was actually a good holding for the portfolio. All right. Vern Mashon, I believe that's how you say your name. Please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. I really hate mispronouncing names. It's just something that I've kind of dealt with growing up. So I apologize if I mess up your name. But good subject, Mr. Ellis. If not COVID, there should be at least one or two events that push for a digital currency standard. We're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. Dave Natch, you just IPO as well. Okay, I didn't see that. Chili Davis. All right, so Chili's talking about Ford because he knows I bought about 100 shares of Ford. So Ford released info on electronic truck, right? They released information on electronic truck and that they're opening up a new plant out there in Michigan that's going to service or build only electronic vehicle trucks, namely the F-150. Yep. Vern says RIP Notorious RBG. That's funny. I haven't seen that. Yeah. Darren Miller, what's up, bro? How are you? Thanks for joining us. Oh, Vermashon. I'm sorry. I apologize. No, I don't like messing up people's names. If you can't get a person's name, I don't think, or at least try, right? You might mess it up maybe 1, 2, 3 times. I know people that just don't even try, right? And to me, that's like the ultimate form of disrespect. The Business Bully. What's up, Dave? How are you, sir? Salutes to you. Connection. Oh, recovering well. I didn't know you were out, Callie. Hope all is well with you. All right, folks. So listen, stock markets, fair to middling. That's an old school saying right there. So the S&P 500 closed this week at 3,319, right? 3,319. It is up 2.75%. So we're using the S&P 500 as a representation of the stock market because you have the S&P 500, you have the Dow Jones, you have the NASDAQ. The most popular one in the professional investing industry is the S&P 500. All right. I know y'all all hear the Dow Jones every night, but here we're gonna talk professional talk because I want y'all to get the lingo. I want y'all to get the flavor of how the professionals actually talk about it. All right. Oil was up a little bit this week, $41.11. Again, oil closed up this week, $41.11, but it's still down on the year. It's down 28.73%. All right. Gold's still running. Gold is up 26.46% year to date. All right. So since the beginning of the year, gold has went up 26.46%. It closed at $19.57. So it's almost back to that $2,000 level. Now, listen, when I throw those percentages out at you, all right, I want y'all to understand what I'm talking about because I understand that people don't really think in percentages. They think in dollars and cents. That is not lost to me. So when I say something is up, let's say 26.46%, I want you to think about that, right? So just think for every dollar that you invested, you got back $1 $1.26. All right. $1.26. If it was $100, you would be up now $126.46. All right. So you'll be up $126.46 if you invested $100 in gold on January 1. All right. So again, I want you all to start getting the flavor for the lingo and the industry, because I know sometimes they throw these complicated terms out at you, and they can be broken down, and people, the media, tries to make investing and money and finance more difficult than it actually is. But we're going to work through all that. So Cali Connection asks, and just to let y'all know, I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of question and answer, but I'm going to answer some. I always try to answer some, right? So Cali Connection asks, what is my main source for news? I am everywhere. If there's news there, I am there. I try to only go to reliable sources, though. So I don't go to like third-rate blog posts. I don't do anything that's in relationship to the current White House, right? Because all their stuff is really fake news, hyped up news, many, many lies. But here's a couple I'll give to you. Bloomberg, I'm on Bloomberg heavy. If you don't like Bloomberg, you can look at places like a CNN Money. And some of those I also bring up throughout the broadcast today. But CNN Money, and also another good one just for your everyday to catch up on news, your everyday plug for news, USA Today. When I would go out and do seminars, especially talk to the youth and some parents about money and college savings and things like that, I would tell everybody if they wanted to get a feel for money, read the money section in the USA Today. So you can still do that now. You can read the money section on the USA Today online, and you can also read the money section on CNN Money as well. They're both pretty good. If you are not a stranger to the show, or if you are pretty familiar with the show, you know I put those up on the screen quite often. All right. So listen, one of the things I want to get back to as we get back to business is my financial term of the day. I know everybody loves the term financial literacy. Again, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, you know I hate that term because it's a tactic used by banking and credit cards to sell you more stuff, because they're trying to act like they're really here for the community, when in fact they're actually here for their own dollars and cents, their own bottom line. Remember that most of these companies out here, when you see them take a position on something, they're only doing that because it's going to impact their bottom line. Please don't be fooled. Now, sometimes it could be a good thing. It could be for a good thing for the community that they're impacted. But the underlying intention is always dollars and cents. They are not doing anything to be altruistic. 9 times out of 10. I think there are some exceptions, but for the most part, they are here for the bag. All right. So financial term of the day. This term getting thrown around a lot. It's the price to earnings ratio. Sometimes it's called multiple, right? Or they might call it PE. So when you hear people talk about companies, Tesla's one that people have been talking about a lot, and how their PE is crazy. Matter of fact, let me pull up Tesla. Oh, and Cali Connection, another site I use often, is also finance.yahoo.com. All right. But I'm looking up Tesla because I want to pull up their PE ratio just so we can have a baseline to talk about. So I want to throw that on the screen real quick. So bear with me 1 second. Un momento. I got to get my Spanish up, y'all. Pretty soon, well, it's already here actually, but pretty soon, you really want to need to be able to speak multiple languages in order to do business in this country. It's coming. There's no way around it. No way around it. All right, so you see here, we're looking at, oh, I'm sorry, this is Costco. Why is Costco up? We have Tesla on the screen. All right, so we got Tesla, $442.15. That's what it closed out. Up. It was up yesterday. So Chili was right. It was up. I was thinking about for the week. It was up 4.42% yesterday. All right, it's a $411 billion company, which is absolutely crazy. But, you know, I'll spare y'all my Tesla rantings right now. So right here, I am looking at this term right here. It says PE ratio. And then on the back of it, it says TTM. Now, PE ratio stands for price to earnings ratio. All right. So basically, you take the price of the stock, which would be $442, and then you divide it by the earnings, or sometimes they may call it the EPS. And that basically means earnings per share. And you can be able to find that. But usually, many of these websites will kind of calculate it for you. So right now, the PE ratio for Tesla is 1145. Now, this TTM, that TTM that's on the back end right there, that stands for trailing 12 months. All right. So that is the price to earning ratios for the last 12 months. That is not the forward one. There's a forward one too. But I just want you to understand what this means because it gets thrown around quite a lot. All right. So what they're saying here is, and people use this, analysts use this, portfolio managers use this to kind of evaluate a company, to see if a company is overpriced, overbought. All right, because they're looking at the price of the stock divided by the earnings per share. All right, and that's basically all your profits divided by all the outstanding stock that are out there, and that's what it is per stock. Now, hopefully, I'm not leaving you alone, getting too technical, y'all. That's not my intent. But this shows you that this PE ratio is 1145. All right, it's 1145. So basically, what this is, right? This is telling you that it's going to take you 1,145 years in order to make your money back. That's what the PE ratio kind of talks to. All right. Normally, PE ratios are, since Chile brought up Ford, let's look at Ford. Two car companies against one another, right? Ford's PE ratio. Oh, Ford doesn't even have. Oh, wrong company. Why do I keep messing these up? Ford's PE ratio is, why is that not showing up? Well, because Ford has some losses. Let's see. It's NA. Let's see if GE has one. Okay. GE's PE ratio is 29. So if you wanted to compare GE to a Ford, they're very, very different as it relates to the PE ratio, right? So when you think about that, it tells you something. So usually they say when a company is PE is over 20, it's kind of overpriced. And many people use the PE and they base it against the overall stock market. Now, remember I talked about the S&P 500. And there's, why isn't it giving me one? Let's see. I'm trying to find one we can judge it off of. That's not up either. Now, I can do this by hand, but it'll just take a little bit longer. I don't want to do that. I don't want to put anybody to sleep because I know sometimes people don't like numbers. And I'm not here to put y'all back in the math class or ninth grade algebra. That is not my intent. But let me see something here. Give me 1 second, y'all. One second. Because normally what people do is they'll also judge the PE ratio, the S&P 500 versus companies out there. And so I just pulled this one up. So the S&P 500's ratio is about 22. So that's all 500 companies or 500 of the biggest companies in the United States, right? Most of them do business abroad. But right now it's saying that the S&P 500's ratio is 22. That's a far cry of what Tesla is. So again, Tesla is, in my opinion, very overpriced, very overvalued. And like I said, when you look at the PE ratio, it also tells you how long it should take you to recoup your money back as well. So I just wanted you all to get a little bit more perspective, a little bit more context on some of these terms that they throw around out here. Because I know many of y'all complain to me and say, why do they always talk with these funny words? Well, listen, that is the language of the industry. Every industry has their own language. Medical field has their own language. Policing has their own language. Legal field has their own language. So, investments have their own language as well. So if you're really serious about investments and serious about money, you want to understand the language of the industry that you are in. All right. So as I promised, so here's the so Cali Connection asked, where do I get my news source? So I read Barron's. I read it online. I read it in paper form. I just threw out a whole stack of papers. Sadly, I stack up my newspapers, and that's not a great thing, but it's real. And today, when I was reading through Barron's, I thought this article was really good to just kind of go over and recap. And again, it is the COVID kill. Okay, the COVID kill cash. Now, the funny thing about this is I'm betting if I took a survey of all of you, most of y'all haven't been using cash in quite some time. By a show of hands, type in the comment section if you use cash, or if you use cash over the last year as your main source of spending. Just type cash in the chat box. Deneen Super, how are you? Living Life 519, how are you? Kay Landers, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Visual Dreams Multimedia, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So how many of y'all use cash, still use cash to this day? Tell me what you think. So that's the actual title, right? Then there was another title called, again, Cash is Cash Killing, or it's COVID Killing Cash. Kimberly Leticia says, what is cash? Where do you get it from? You get it from the bank. You get it from the ATM. No cash, but you're tipping cash. Okay, so Chile uses cash. All right. Okay, about 10% in cash. Well, this article really breaks down and it talks about what's going on with cash, how the Fed Reserve at the top of COVID started paring back cash, or starting to confiscate cash, actually, because they didn't want to put cash into circulation because they were scared of transmitting the virus. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And there were some other things that came out of it that I thought, again, were really interesting. I don't know why everybody wants to use the whole COVID. I understand it's part of the title, but I'm kind of tired of seeing this COVID theme over and over again. But that's just me. All right, so just going through the article real quick, right? It says sometime back in March, the Fed Reserve began quarantining cash bills arriving from Asia, right? So they were putting bills, cash aside that came from Asia, all right? And, they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to spread the virus. And say cash usage was already at an all-time low. COVID-19 was already at an all-time low, and COVID-19 had just hastened the decline, while Americans at first stuck at home and now still wary of the close proximity related to physical exchange of bills. So people are afraid of sharing cash, of touching people, of being around folks. I mean, that's why we still kind of have stay-in-place orders right now. And so, hey, Kelly says rarely uses cash, and Living Life 519 says rarely. COVID didn't kill cash. Well, that's what the article. Well, yes, you are right. Cash was basically already dead, or at least dying. It's on its deathbed right now, and COVID kind of put a nail in the coffin. Now, again, there's some other things in here that I thought were really, really interesting. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Some other things that I thought were really, really interesting. Hold on one second. I thought you guys were looking at the article too. Give me 1 second. Sometimes the tech doesn't want to work with me. Flow with me, baby. Flow with me. So there we go. All right. So again, this is a Barron's article. And just to give proper attribution, it's by Darren Fonda. I don't want anybody to say I'm plagiarizing. I don't want anybody to say I am giving you investment recommendations. This is not investment advice. All right. Before you buy, or sell any investments, please go see your investment advisor, your tax advisor, because past performance of an investment or a stock is not a good indicator of future results. Shorthand, that just means that just because something is doing good does not mean it will continue to do good. Just because something is doing bad does not mean it will continue to do bad. Things change. All right. Okay, here's something I found really interesting about this, right? So it said outside the US, India's transition to cashless society is accelerating, right? So this isn't just happening in the United States. It's not happening in a vacuum. It's happening around the world. While Sweden is closer to becoming the world's first cashless country. One of the hottest startups in Silicon Valley in these days is Stripe. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are familiar with Stripe. A lot of e-commerce stores and businesses love to use Stripe. And it's a payments technology company valued at $36 billion. Again, $36 billion. Ms. Ponda, how are you? I hope I'm saying your name right. Correct me if I am wrong. All right. So cash represented 26% of all U.S. consumer payments in 2019, according to the Fed Reserve. All right. And then according to their latest Consumer Payment Choice Survey, that's down from 31% in 2016. All right. So now we've had COVID. We've had a declining usage of cash. Again, COVID accelerated it. And now we are looking at an ongoing trend that is developing. And by the looks of it, everybody that's watching today, that's listening today, y'all don't use cash either. So you kind of see this trend developing right in front of your eyes or right in front of your wallets and pocketbooks, right? So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Here's another interesting thing that I thought was really, really key. It says big tech will continue to poke at payments, right? They all have the ability to write the code and do the algorithms. If you're a small or mid-sized bank, you have no chance. So basically they're saying that it's going to be big bank take little bank, or big fish eat little fish. The bigger guys have the advantage here, which they typically do until they don't, right? Because we've all lived long enough to see small startups like Netflix come through and take out blockbusters. Sometimes when you get too big, you miss out on the opportunities and then you're too late. I.e. Amazon. Amazon was there. Walmart, who was the retailer king at the time, didn't move fast enough and they were tardy for the party. However, Walmart, since they were so big, they did pivot pretty quickly. And now their online services payments section is doing its thing. It's doing quite well. All right. So these are some of the companies that are positioned. I bet y'all can guess the companies that are positioned to do well and whose stock has been kicking butt since the beginning of the year. Anybody want to take a guess? Anybody want to take a guess before I start reading off this list? No, nobody. Bueller. Sorry, y'all. Sometimes I nerd out. Ferris Bueller is one of my favorite movies. But listen, while y'all are putting your responses in here, I want to acknowledge some of these comments. Althea Cooper says she uses cash as well. All right, so again, we're seeing it unfold before our eyes. Allison Thompson says, what's happening from before? COVID just twisted the knife. Yes, was happening from before. COVID just twisted the knife. Yes, great analogy. I still, Katisha Rao says, I still have the same $60 in my purse. So I still have the same $60 cash in my purse since February, not using that. You know what's so funny? So in my wallet, I don't want y'all to see my wallet. I don't want y'all talking about me. I've just had this $50 bill in my wallet for like forever. And, oh, y'all folks couldn't see it. I've had this like $50 bill in my wallet forever. And I haven't spent it either. So I'm also clear evidence of the falling knife of cash as well. All right. So some of the folks say, are saying, Felanice, how are you? I hope I'm saying your name right. So Living Life 519 says Home Depot will be one of the big benefactors from cashless society. Kelly says Apple. Living Life says Lowe's and Zoom. Close. So let's see what else we got. Kimberly says, is that why we have a coin shortage all of a sudden? So that's part of it, Kimberly. The other part is the Mint. The Mint stopped printing or creating new coins, right? Because they suffered from COVID as well. They had layoffs as well, so they didn't have anybody working the Mint. Now that's starting to get back online. But shoot, if you don't need cash, why would you need coins at this point? So Chili David says Amazon, BTC. All right, Bitcoin. We're talking about Bitcoin. We got a Bitcoin lover in the house. Home Depot. Kimberly says Zoom. Man, none of y'all getting this. Tesla. Walmart benefited. Twilio, cloud stocks. I mean, come on, y'all. Y'all gonna laugh at yourself when y'all, boom. That's part of it. Visa, MasterCard, Apple, Google, and Facebook. All right, close. You got some of them. All right. But Barron's reports that PayPal, Square, MasterCard, Visa, Global Payments, and Federal National Information Services are all poised to take advantage of these or this cashless society debacle. Because those are the ones who are directly, these are like the new banks, right? You know, no pun intended, but these are really like the new banks. They are in the way. They are clearing all the transactions. They're just moving money and they get a piece. I don't know. I might be showing my age now, but does anybody remember Superman 3 when Richard Pryor was in it? Shout out to Richard Pryor. Probably either the greatest comedian ever or at least one of the greatest comedians ever. So in Superman 3, Richard Pryor worked in like payroll or accounting or something idea situation for Richard. And he got this great idea to get rich. And he was going to take a penny from everybody's paycheck. And he did that. And he made a bunch of money. And so basically, all of these companies just watched Superman 3, PayPal, Square, what's the other one we just talked about? I just forget it. I just forgot it. Stripe. Stripe's another one. So PayPal, Square, Stripe, MasterCard, Visa, Global Payments. They all just watched Superman 3. They got that idea from there. All right. They just take a penny off of each transaction. But, you know, I do business on PayPal and Cash App. Every now and again, Venmo, and they all get their piece. And if you're not quick or if you're not sharp, when you take your money out, they'll get a piece too. So don't do immediate transfers unless it's an emergency. Wait the 1 to 3 days. Those little percentages add up over time, folks. All right, so the digital pure play, they have PayPal. All right, let me see if this is in the article, which it should be. All right, boom. So, you know, the pure play, again, is PayPal. One of the pure plays is PayPal. Let me scroll down to it. There's a whole list here, right? So PayPal, ticker symbol PYPL. Recent price, $175.79. Year to date, stock is up 63%. They have a price to earnings multiple of 39, right? So remember, if you put $1 in today, it'll take you roughly 39 years to get that dollar back. EPS growth, right? Anybody remember EPS, earnings per share growth? All right, so that's just the earnings per share that each one of the company shares has outstanding. I know that might be a little bit techy, but wrap your arms around that one a little bit. And listen, when I throw out terms and I give you definitions, I don't expect y'all to just take my word on it. I expect y'all to get them Twitter fingers going and Google everything that I'm talking about afterwards, right? I'm just here to present some information that could be helpful for your overall financial growth. But listen, by any means, by no means necessary. And I, the guru, I am not Black Jesus of money. I'm not Black Jesus of stock. I am not Black Jesus of savings, life insurance, and business. Y'all got to do y'all research. Y'all got to do y'all homework. All right. So EPS stands for earnings per share. And so when they talk about EPS growth, they're saying how much a profit's going to go up. All right. So the comment here is one of the clear winners in the shift to digital payments, including growth in area like P2P or peer-to-peer payments and cross-border transactions. They were talking about PayPal. All right. So another one, Square, ticker symbol SQ, price 145.64. Year to date, stock increased 133%. So Square has been kicking butt. EPS growth, again, EPS stands for earnings per share. PE, again, stands for price to earnings ratio. All right. But we're looking at the 2021 estimated EPS growth. That's what that column is there. They're expecting their EPS to grow by 126%. And look at that, Cash App. If anybody rocks with me, it's homies with me, online or in person, y'all know I talk a lot about Cash App. All right. So guess who owns Cash App? Square. A lot of people ask me the question, well, can Cash App go out of business? Yes, they can go out of business. Just like Merrill Lynch can go out of business. Just like Morgan Stanley can go out of business. Just like Robinhood and Webull and any of the other brokerage accounts that handle your investments, because you can invest through Cash App. It's one of my favorite ways to tell beginners to start investing, Cash App. All right. But Cash App is owned by who? Square. Square is like a $50 billion company or something like that. All right. So the comments here say Cash App and direct deposit are fueling rapid growth, but have pushed valuation to extremes, right? Remember when we talked about valuation, that's that PE ratio again. There's that name, there's that term again, valuation. All right. Now, one of the things, they talked about deposits. One of the things I think Cash App / Square did geniusly, right? When we saw the stimulus payments come out of the government for COVID or to help the population, what did Cash App do? They made each one of their accounts basically a bank account. Remember I said they're banks? They made them a bank account. So you could have your money direct deposited, because in the United States, we have what's called a bankless communities or bankless populations. People that can't open up bank accounts. And it's sad. Everybody should be able to go to open a bank account, but sometimes people run into trouble. But if you're familiar, if you grew up like I grew up, there was a check cashing place on a corner near you that you can go to, and you can go cash a $100 check for like $50. I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but it was a lot of money. Boss Man PG, how are you? Leo Lady, how are you? Welcome to Wealthy Conversations, our Saturday edition of the Finance Rebel Show. If you're just now joining, I am Kamari Ellis. Again, every Saturday we do this at 11:30. I got started a little late, so don't judge me. Don't judge me, folks. All right. But listen, if you know anybody that's looking to increase their financial education, their financial IQ, their financial literacy levels, share this with them. Don't be a hoarder. Don't be stingy. Share the knowledge. Sharing is caring. So share this with someone who needs help understanding money terms, who needs help understanding financial terms, who needs help understanding business terms, because that's all a part of this, right? It's all mixed up in the gumbo, and we're just kind of going through it, sifting through it, and talking about it, trying to make it plain and simple for everybody. One of my favorite broadcasters is a guy by the name Joe Madison, and he always says, put it where the goats can get it. So every now and again, you might hear me say, put it where the goats can get it, which basically means, no, we're not goats, but we want to put it low so the goats can eat it. So I want to put it low. I want to make it plain. I want to make it simple so you all can grasp it. And listen, here's the thing. Our Wednesday show is more for question and answers, but I always love to interact with the audience. When I started radio, that's the thing that made me fall in love with radio and doing all this, is the overall interaction, because I get to be helpful. So I will stop to help if someone has a question, they don't understand something. All right. So be sure to do that. All right. So moving right along. All right. So we just talked about those two stocks that were the digital pure plays. Now we're talking about the card networks. Card networks, MasterCard and Visa. Don't see American Express or Discover on here. Interesting. So MasterCard, ticker symbol MA, recent price $339.43. All right, $339.43. It is up year to date 14%. So again, it's up year to date 14%. If you were to put $1 into MasterCard, you would now have $1.14. If you were to put $100 into MasterCard, you would have $114. All right. That's how that works. Because again, I know people don't think in terms of percentages. We think in dollars and cents. Where's the cash at? Where the money at? All right. So that's PE. Again, coming up again, price to earnings ratio is 39. Notice that none of these have touched anywhere near Tesla. All right. But I'm not going to go into that. Now, MasterCard, old school company, been around a long time. I'm not sure how much they're worth, but they are worth several of billions of dollars. If somebody could do me a favor and just look up the market capitalization of MasterCard and throw it in the chat for me, I will be forever grateful. Curtis Keys, how are you, sir? Kurt, I saw you had some steaks on the grill earlier. Do I get an invite? I'm always hungry, brother. That's why I can't get out the Fat Boy Club. But here, that's all good. All right, so their comments about MasterCard expanding into data and analytics, cybersecurity, P2P or peer-to-peer, and real-time payments would benefit from lifting of travel restrictions in Europe and elsewhere. All right, so MasterCard is everybody isn't taking their payments or taking their card overseas, and that's all of them to a large extent, but it happens. All right, so Visa, ticker symbol V, price $205.27. Year to date, price change or increase is 9%. So again, invested $1 in the beginning of the year will be $1.09. All right, that's invested $100, it will be $109. That's how much you would have right now. Their PE, their price to earnings ratio, is 35. Their EPS growth, or their anticipated EPS growth, again, earnings per share, basically profit, is 16. So they're expecting to grow by 16. Growth should rebound with the economic and travel recovery. I don't know when that's happening. I do see people moving around, but I'm talking about en masse. Just as company expands into new areas like push payments and business to business payments. Okay. Now, so we talked about our digital pure plays like your PayPals and Squares. We're talking about our card networks, and now we're talking about payment processors. All right. These are typically the people behind the credit cards. So you have your Global Payments, ticker symbol GPN, recent price $181.48. Year to date, it is down 1%. So if you'd invested $1, you would have 99 cents. Somebody put 99 cents in the chat for me, please. Just as a reminder that we don't think in percentages, we think in terms of money. All right. PE 23. They have a PE, they have a price to earnings ratio of 23. Now, I don't know if anybody remember when I pulled up the S&P 500. Anybody remember what the S&P 500's price to earnings ratio was? The S&P 500's price to earning ratio was 22.2. So Global Payments is kind of close to the overall market, right? So we can say, all right, it's not really overvalued. And EPS growth, what they're expecting is 25%. Okay, so the comments say partnering with Amazon to sell cloud-based services to banks and merchants generates revenue from net spend, prepaid cards, and benefits from bank tech spending. All right, so all these companies have something going on. Jump for more success. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. This is the Wealthy Conversation segment of the Finance Rebel Show. My name is Kamari Ellis. We do these every Saturday at 11:30. All right, and the last one, last but not least, Federal National Information Services, FIS. I believe FIS is actually in the Philadelphia area. FIS stock price, $148.81. Year-to-date increase, 7%. So the stock is up 7%. The PE, the price to earnings ratio, is 22, and the EPS is 22 as well. All right. The notes, comments that they gave for this company: handles payment processing for merchants and banks following its WorldPay merger. It has won new accounts like Disney. That's always sexy. Anytime you're doing business with Disney, that's always sexy. Disney's a giant. All right, so if anybody sees this here, just to kind of glance over it again, I don't want to read it to you because I don't want to bore you to death. I don't want to put you to sleep. But higher consumer demand is resulting in more merchant offering electronic payments, and with more transactions, there's more demand for data analytics and cybersecurity. Listen, cybersecurity ain't going nowhere. All these Nigerian princes sending out emails every day. And listen, that's no diss to my African brothers and sisters, but they be getting at it. They have cornered the market in scams or email scams, sadly. Roxy T, thanks for joining us. Allison, thanks for putting in the comments. Chili, thanks for putting in the comments. Appreciate you all. The Wholesale Diva. How are you, the Wholesale Diva? Great information. I'm in real estate investing. People are walking away from their homes. I'm looking to network with individuals wanting to get into the investing game with IRAs, 401ks, savings. Okay, cool. You are in the right place. You are in the right place. Chaotic Limited says, Mr. Ellis, I'm interested in sharing this type of topic. Got any tips? Share the video. Click the little arrow button and share it on with them. What were you talking about specifically, though? Now, I talked about a lot of stuff. I talked about PE ratio. Hi, Danielle J58. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I talked about a lot of topics. What are you all thinking? Junior's washing detail. Everybody say hello to my son. Junior's washing detail. My son is struck out on business. He wants to make his own mark in the world. He wants to be his own man. What's he supposed to be? Everybody say hello to him. Got to give a shout out to my firstborn. I be riding the shop, so I get to tell him publicly that I love him and I'm proud of him. So what do y'all think, folks? What stocks are y'all looking at? Did that make y'all think of some things a little bit differently? Did that make y'all think of some things in a way that, no one has really talked about or you've seen talked about? I know everybody has become an overnight stock market guru. People that have never talked about stock investing before. No diss, I'm just stating the facts. So let's go on back to some of these comments. I missed some of the comments. They went by me real fast. Yes, Chili, T-Mobile was targeting bank-less people, but everybody I know who's on T-Mobile, who's now on the T-Mobile that came from Sprint, complains about their network sucking. Don Johnson, what's up, brother? How are you? Welcome. Chili Davis says this channel helped many people in financial literacy. Chili, we don't say financial literacy, we say financial education. But no, I'm jokingly playing, right? I appreciate you. That's the whole goal. Listen, a lot of times people don't realize, right? Everything comes down to a money decision, some way, somehow, whether it be a job offer, credit card offer, a car note, mortgage, many things. The more you understand finance, the more you understand money, the more you understand business, the more you can make business, money, and finance work for you, work for your family, work for your community, and build wealth. And that's the goal. All right? So Vern says, what recommendation do you have for us to put the OSDI, no tax from paychecks aside until January? So if you got great savings, so let me start there. Put it in your savings because we still don't know what's going to happen. There's still over 20 million people unemployed. People are about to get evicted. Who knows what's going to happen? So put it in savings. You can never have enough cash. Cash is king, despite what some of these people say about credit. Cash is king. Credit is queen. All right. Together with the marriage of the two of them, you can build a mighty empire. But you got to have first things first. You got to have cash and cash to come through to make sure you can pay for the credit, to make sure you keep a good credit score to keep the credit. All right. I see a lot of people who are selling things. Listen, I ain't selling nothing, folks. I am here to do business. I don't want to confuse you. People do reach out to me to do business, but I ain't got nothing for sale. That don't mean I'm not always going to have anything for sale. I might have something for sale But listen, that's not the motivation here. The motivation here is to get more people that look like me and that guy right there. By the way, tell me what y'all think about my banner. But, us talking about money, we don't talk about it. It's taboo. We can go to church and pass the plate and get bread to passer. And, that's no swipe. That's no diss at churches. The black church has done a lot of work in the community. I know many of y'all may disagree, but we can run the receipts, but not right now. But we kind of talk about money only from a consumeristic standpoint. And if you're only consuming, if you're only trying to buy foreigns, if you're only trying to get luxury brands, when do you have time to create something, to invest in something, to produce something, to build something? You know what all those things have in common? To invest, build, produce, create. That's what millionaires do. That's what the 1% do. So if you are tired of being poor, if you're tired of being stuck, build something, create something, think of something, invest in something. I mean, many of us, again, can put money in the savings, right? It's always great. Many people call it an emergency fund. I call it an opportunity fund. Savings helps you stay up and afloat, to keep maximizing your opportunities, to keep you in position to take advantage of opportunities that come along. All right. So, as the president has done this yet another idiotic thing, and I call it idiotic because OASDI basically funds Social Security, and that funds a lot of people that are going into retirement. And Social Security already has a lot of money issues. And so by saving this little bit amount of money, like it's really measly. It's not really helping anybody. It's not helping anybody at all. It's more of a political play. And I promise you I wasn't going to make the show political, but geez Louise, everything really is political. Everything does have a political implication. I need y'all to understand that. But I don't get this at all. It's not helping anybody at all. But yeah, I would save. And listen, now is a great time to invest. Just don't follow the crowd. Really understand the fundamentals, understand the basics, and get busy. Start small and be consistent. And then as you grow in your investing, you can increase more. You can put more money in. If you are at a job, because you're talking about OASDI, put more money into your 401k plan as well. If you have savings. If you don't have savings, put the savings first. All right. I love the banner. All right, cool. I'll tell y'all a story about this banner another time. I don't want to keep y'all too long today. Miss Jackson, 72, how are you? Welcome. All right, so Vern says MC's market cap is $336 billion. Yes. They got cheese, y'all. They got that money. All right, so, okay, I got that one. Again, welcome, Wholesale Diva. Connect with me. Everyone, I'm trying to do a better job of promoting myself. Everybody says I suck at promoting myself, so do me a favor. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is, let me put it up on the screen. It is youtube.com/Kamari, CAMARI. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. Trying to grow the channel. I got shout out to my brothers, By the Hood. They just hit a major milestone on YouTube. They hit it before me. Guess what? I have more subs than them. I got more views than them, and they still got the milestone before me. Just goes to show you, life ain't about fair. Life is about what you can actually get and what you can actually attain. Okay, Miss Leo Lady says, thank you for mentoring. My pleasure. My pleasure. I actually get a lot of value out of this. Believe it or not, I get a lot of value out of this. So Chile says we're becoming a knowledge-based economy. We've been a knowledge-based economy, especially in the United States. Most of our economy is driven by service and knowledge workers. And so that's what it is. That's what it is. It seems like I keep missing. Oh man, I keep missing comments. Okay, Allison Thompson says, hi, Junior. And he is a junior. He's Kamari Jr. Oh, chaotic limited. We talked about that already. Basically, COVID has kind of accelerated the death of cash. Sorry, I didn't quite get your comment at first. But yeah, we talked about that already. You can go back and rewatch this. But, the gist is COVID has kind of accelerated the death of cash. And then I talked about many of the stocks. And I was reading from an article in Barron's. All right, because again, I don't want to plagiarize. That ain't my thing. And the article was written by Darren Fonda. All right. As a matter of fact, I will link to the article in the not the comments, in the description. I'm sorry, y'all. All right, Roxy T asks, where's the detail shop? Detail shop she's talking about is my son's detail shop. It is in West Philly, between near 57th and 58th and Market. And his IG, he's on IG, is called Juniors _ Wash and Detail. I'm actually really proud of him because he went and did all the research on his own, spent his own money. Verma Sean says, hi, Junior. Chili J says, hi, Junior. All right. Now, Chili, RKT Mortgage. Is that a company? Is that a ticker symbol? Allison Thompson says, these gurus don't usually explain P/E ratio. I didn't say that. Love you, man. Thank you for mentioning. All right, IG, listen, I'm running up against the clock. I'm at 1 minute and 50 seconds. So I'm going to close out and come right back. I'll probably stay on for maybe another 10 minutes-ish. And so I'll be right back. All right, everybody, bear with me 1 second as I restart everything over there on IG. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them in. I guess we'll make this like a Wealthy Saturday session as well. I don't mind at all. Just do me a favor, let everybody know. This is the Finance Rebel Show. This is the Wealthy Conversations segment. Every Saturday, we go live at 11:30. We talk about what's going on in money for the past week. All right. And the whole point of the Finance Rebel Show is to help you increase. Again, the whole point of the Finance Rebel Show is to help you increase your financial IQ. So you can make more money in life and you can save more money in life on things that you ain't got to spend money on. So give me 1 second. Un momento. If the Kaizen investor was on, she'd be proud of me. I'm trying to get my Spanish on a little bit. Just a little bit. And now it's not working. There we go. And people are inboxing me. And I'm just trying to go live. All right, so what questions do folks have? No, most of these gurus don't talk about PE. A lot of them are only tech analysis oriented, which is cool. But I believe in tech analysis or technical analysis and fundamental. So Amex, PayPal last 3 years. So you've owned that the last 2 years, Chili? The Wholesale Diva says this info is great to wake up people. We'll share on my meetups and FB page. All right, cool. Connect with me on Facebook too, Wholesale Diva. How long have you been wholesaling? And where are you at? Listen, where is everybody at? Where y'all from? Chili says insurance. Oh, RKT is insurance. Okay. Mr. Ellis, what stocks do you propose to look at if someone wants to get in on options during this time in the fall? Whatever you like. I mean, I would look at, so I try not to give actual recommendations. I will talk about stocks, but I don't give recommendations. But what I would say is I would look at the options that have the most volume. I've been buying kind of long dated leaps, long dated options that are like 2 and 3 years out. So I think that's where you should go. However, Chaotic Limited, I don't know if you're a beginner Most of my stuff is geared towards beginners. So I don't recommend any beginners. Again, I don't recommend any beginners going to options. I don't recommend any beginners going to Forex. I don't recommend any beginners going to commodities or futures. I suggest y'all study the markets, stock market, understand all the intersections. Understand. I don't recommend, by the way, I don't recommend any beginners going to Forex either. All right. I recommend y'all save, start putting money in slowly, and be consistent. That's my recommendation. Stack to buy assets. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the opportunity fund. Not really. People get robbed. And, I am a product of my environment. I'm sorry. I was born and raised during the 70s and 80s. So, that's the crack era. I think banks are fine. Banks are secure. A lot of people talk trash about the Federal Reserve, right? A lot of people talk trash about banks, but we don't really have runs on the bank anymore, right? So we don't have to really about putting our money in a bank and losing that money. Not at this point in time. So no, not a man. Not on hand. I do suggest people begin to work towards, and don't get scared when I say this, right? I do suggest people get their first $1,000 in their savings and then work towards getting 6 months worth of income. Okay, 6 months worth of income in your savings. And then the next goal would be 12 months worth of income, not expenses, income in your savings. Again, those are milestones. Don't get scared by those big numbers. But it's a milestone. And the rationale behind that is everybody says I have 3 months worth of savings, 3 months of expenses and savings, or have 6 months worth of expenses and savings. That's cool, but I don't really know anybody that likes to change their lifestyle if they lose a job or in between jobs. That's one. Two, it usually takes, under normal circumstances, we're not under normal circumstances right now, but it normally takes about 9 months to get a new job when you're in transition, right? So, hey, let's round up to a year. And again, with the year, it doesn't all have to be in cash, but I just say cash for simplicity's sake. But once you have that level of cash, you have options. You can do some things. Again, not necessarily be a skydiver with your money, but you can start looking for ways to increase what you got. Cash plus credit plus assets. Yeah, sometimes it can be cash plus assets plus credit though, if you do it right. But everybody's situation is different. I do believe the marketing out here has everybody programmed wrong. We look at over 5,000 what they call impressions daily. In the 70s, it was like 500. But daily, we see about 5,000 brand impressions. And a lot of stuff is literally programming us. Like corporations spend billions of dollars on telling us what they want to do. Why do we all get this special kind of feeling every time we see them golden arches or them golden arcs, right? If anybody picked up on the golden arcs, tell me what movie reference that's from. But why do we feel that way? Why do we feel that way? Drop that in the comments. What movie am I talking about? They got the Big Mac. We got the Big Mick. That was a clue. So, I think we have to be really careful, right? The credit industry is no different. They programmed us. Many of us. I'm not excluded from this. I'm just saying I'm recognizing it. All right, Leo Lady got it right on IG. Anybody got it right on Facebook or YouTube? I think I'm going to start doing some contests. Make it interesting. Maybe some cash, maybe some gifts, maybe a book, maybe a Finance Rebel shirt. Maybe that's what I'll do. But if y'all like that idea, if y'all want me to start in it, combining contest and test to some of these nerd questions I'll be asking y'all to have fun, let me know. But yeah, we have to be cognizant of that, right? And it's people want me sometimes just to talk about stock. And I can do that. I could really nerd out to do that. But at the end of the day, All right, Leo lady, inbox me your address and your size and the color you want. And I'll send you the link. Matter of fact, I'll put the link up here so you can just look at it. I gotta find it. I'm so bad at this. Give me 1 second, y'all. But listen, as we're talking and as we're having this dialogue, we had to be ultra suspicious, cautious about what's being put out there. Jay-Z he's probably one of my favorite rappers, and he has a great line in FUTW. He says, question religion, question it all. Question those answers until the answers are solved, or excuse me, until the questions are solved. If you understand what he's getting to, because it's not just about religion, it's about everything. There's so many things we've been lied to. That includes money. That includes what we think has value. Why is Ford more expensive than, or excuse me, why is Mercedes more expensive than Ford? They both do the same function. Tell me why. Do you think it really has more value? Do you think it's a better run car? Can it get you to A to B any better? And this, again, I'm just talking about on the surface, right? Just on the surface of everything. What is this? Why is one better than the other? Why do we pay more for one than the other? Why do we pay more for Polo than the Gap? I don't like either one of them, by the way. Y'all know I'm straight black owned business. I'm black owned business by black every day. I'm just using those as an example. I believe in supporting those who support you. Either one of those companies support us. Just to be clear, I just wanted to clarify that. Living Life says brand. Kelly says brand. Leo Lady says perception. Yeah. Now you have to ask yourself, is perception real? Now, I'm not trying to get too deep and too woo-woo with none of y'all. I'm not. But I'm asking questions like, I've heard this saying, and this is probably why this Jay-Z verse resonates with me so much. They say the quality of your life is linked to the quality of the questions you ask. Not necessarily the answers you I'm messing it up, y'all. Not necessarily the questions you answer, but the quality of the questions you ask. So if you get that right, because it's kind of a horse or a cart thing, like which comes first. So the better your questions are, usually the better your answers will be, or the better directions those questions will lead you to, right? Language, like I just seen a Kaizen investor chime in, and thank you for dropping back in. She talks a lot about language. She talks a lot about mindset. Everybody go follow the Kaizen investor. She is on YouTube and on IG, right? But if our mindset is that we've been programmed to see this brand as better or superior, then yeah, you could pay more money for it. But is it really? Are the shoe is the leather that's used in Nikes any better than the leather that's used in Pumas or Asics or anybody else? What's the difference? They got Jordan on their team. Okay, great. But what's the real difference? And then when we start looking at the dynamics in our community and why Black people are treated less than, a lot of times we're giving our money to our enemies. We are financing our enemies. I can't say that enough. We are financing our enemies, folks. And we don't think anything about it. Nothing. But I don't want to preach it, y'all. I don't want to be on the soapbox. Living Life 519 says The Matrix. Yes, one of my favorite movies. But you got to think about that. So it's again, I don't just talk about stocks because I feel like we got to talk about it all. It's a holistic thing. It's a 360-degree view of what's going on, right? How do we stop spending our money on dumb stuff? Spend our money on things that appreciate value. Baby Boy, again, is one of my favorite movies because John Singleton always finds a way to interweave Black wealth issues into his movies. You've seen it in Baby Boy. You saw it in Boys in the Hood. I can't think of any other John Singleton movies off the top of my head, but there's two scenes in Baby Boy that come to mind. First one is the one with Ving Rhames and Jodie and Gooding. I forget his last name. Is it Omar? I think it's Omar Gooding. Are in their room doing whatever, and they got the poster of Tupac right there, all right? And they're talking about him, and Tyrese is puffing and kind of talking low, but talking loud enough because his boy's there. He's trying to act like he's the man. And this is at the time when he started making money, started selling the dresses because he was a bit of a ladies' man, and he had a way of finessing the ladies. And so he took that finesse for the romantic side and just kind of applied it to the business side. And Ving Rhames came in and said, y'all don't know nothing. I'm not going to cuss today, but y'all don't know nothing. Y'all think y'all know stuff. There's rules to getting paper. There's rules to getting paper. When you're getting paper, you don't want to buy the dumb stuff. Jewelry, sneakers, stuff that depreciates in value. He says you want to buy artwork, stocks and bonds, and real estate, things that appreciate in value. So we start redirecting our dollars, redirecting our energy, redirecting our thoughts, redirecting our questions to, wow, how can I become wealthy? How can I start to get things that appreciate in value? How can I create a better future for my children than what I have? And listen, don't confuse creating a better future for your children for making things better for them. Many of us parents weaken our children because we don't want our children to have it as bad as we had. I get it. I'm a parent. I totally get it. But what we often do sometimes is we give them all the material trappings with none of the experience that we had. And those experiences don't necessarily have to be bad, but they can still be valuable. So instead of buying a whole bunch of junk that they'll use for maybe a week or two and then throw it out, maybe think about redirecting that money to experiences so that when they get to become heads of the family, when they get to becoming the matriarchs and patriarchs of the family, that they can help the next generation, right? In the Bible, Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man, and y'all know the Bible's kind of misogynistic, no diss, just saying that was old school, but it was a good man, and it should be a good man and a good woman. A good man and a good woman leaves an inheritance for his children's children, all right? That's why many other ethnic groups do better than many Black folks. Yes, there are plenty of things systemic that are in the way, but at what point are we going to say we just going to destroy all the obstacles? We're going to hurdle over all the obstacles. We're going to dig around all the obstacles. We're going to go around all the obstacles. We're going to blast through all the obstacles and claim what's ours. Because the only person or thing that can tell us what's ours is the universe or God or whatever you might call it, not another person. You have to claim that, and you have the right to do that. But again, I feel like I'm preaching to y'all again. Forgive me. That's not my intent. So the Wholesale Divas on. You shooting your shot, baby. I see you. Are you open to live interviews on your YouTube channel? Yes, you must have just found me. So usually today we are doing kind of a departure from what our usual thing is. I usually bring on somebody on Saturdays that I'm interested to talk to. I've been interviewing for a long time. I love interviewing, if y'all haven't noticed. Ever since that was the thing that kind of got me hooked in the radio, was the interaction and also the interviewing. And I bring some of those interviews here. Hopefully next week we'll have today's guest. Again, we had some technical difficulties, some scheduling difficulties, but I'm here. Y'all here. And we're going to make the best of it because that's all we can do. All right. Oh, you know what? Vermin Sean, you're right. Do me a favor, smash the like button. All right. I'm fighting against analytics, whether it be on IG, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, right? The analytics love to see the like button hit. You ain't got to smash it. I just say that jokingly because that's what all the YouTubers say. Hit the like button, comment, and share. Definitely helps me fight against the algorithm, right? Listen, we got to be warriors in everything that we do. We got to be fighters in everything we do, but we got to make sure we're fighting for the right cause, right? So my cause is to try to get more financial education in front of people and less chicanery and shenanigans. So Miss Rowell likes the banner. You got to tell me how to say your name. Cantisa, I think it is, right? because I be over here self-conscious about saying folks' names and things just running through my head. Like, am I saying that name right? Yes, Chili, and the digital information info is important. But guess what? In every economy, information is important. I don't know if anybody knows the story of the Rothschilds with Nathan Rothschild and the father and all that, and how they would send birds to one another when one will be in England, the other will be in France, about the developments going on in terms of war and how they would position themselves. They were insider trading, basically, before insider trading was a thing, right? Um, um, and so they just exchanged information. So whoever had the information and could execute on the information, right? Because it's not just about information in and of itself. It's about having information and executing on that information. Sometimes you can't always execute. But yes. Microsoft, Google, Apple, FP for their cloud build up. But the use of blockchain tech will be the next big thing. Yes, I've talked about blockchain. There's a great interview up here. Let me find that. There's a great interview up on my YouTube channel about blockchain. I talked to one of the Black Blockchain Consortium members. Her name is Talisha Shine. Let me find that. Let me highlight that. Let me show y'all the receipts. Can't find it real quick. Let me see. So yeah, I do interviews. Going back to Wholesale Diva. I love to talk to other people. I love to exchange ideas with other people. Not just for myself, but also for the community. So when I get to let everybody in on the conversation that may or may not have access to these people, again, it's still something for everybody to think about. I don't know if everybody thinks about it like that, but I'm kind of weird, right? I was like 15 years old listening to talk radio. All my other friends was listening to the rap station. Now listen, I love hip hop. I listen to that as well, but that wasn't my whole thing. I enjoyed talk radio. And it's funny when you talk about manifestation. I kind of manifested myself on the radio to some detail. And I'm not trying to be woo-woo. Again, I'm just sharing with y'all my life story. Because, I've always, my dad was involved with an organization called Concerned Black Men here in Philadelphia. And oftentimes they would do their meetings at WDAS, which at one point was a Black-owned radio station in Philly. And so I got to meet a guy by the name of Butterball. Now, everybody thought Butterball was Black. But Butterball was actually this white Italian dude that had more soul than a lot of us. He was awesome. But I got a chance to meet Butterball. And Butterball gave me my first record. I want to say it was a 45. It was Run DMC. I wish I still had it. It was Sucker MCs. And so if anybody knows me, they know I love Run DMC. They know I love Rockbox. It means a lot to me. But I got to get introduced to that at a very, very young age. It might have been, I don't know, 7, 8, or 9, somewhere around there. And I got that record. One of the first single, I want to say it was the first single off their album, off their Run DMC album, their very first album. But I kind of manifested myself in that because years later, I wound up doing an internship with one of the Radio 1 radio stations here in Philadelphia. And I was in the promotions department. Sucked. But I made some great relationships there, learned some things. And it was really good. It was really good. And from there, I just kept working on my craft. And as I started doing more speaking in the community, my business partner at the time had an opportunity to do a radio show. And she said, Kamari, I know you love to talk about this stuff. Come on, let's do it. And so I became her co-host. And then as a result of that, kind of fell in love with social media. I was already in love with podcasting. I wasn't a podcaster, but I love podcasting, right? And so it's just funny how when you reflect back on your life, you really do manifest certain things. Because I could have never planned that. And then again, from having the radio show to being called to do radio about my commentary on the markets and on taxes and just on finances and Black wealth in general, and get called to do TV, I did manifest it. Not kind of, I did manifest it. So we got to be careful with what we say and what we think. Again, another rant, but I was showing y'all as I was pulling up this interview. So there is an interview up here, and it is called, it's the one on the right here, Blockchain Unlocking the Wealth Opportunity with Talisha Shine. I know for a fact another buddy of mine was really impacted by that because he has a show. He went and tracked down Talisha, and then he interviewed her. So he copied off my interview. But I'm okay with that because, again, we need to understand blockchain. We need to understand crypto. We need to be able to put it all in its proper context. So, his audience is going to be different than my audience. So I am totally okay with spreading and sharing the wealth. Totally okay with that. All right. So let's see what other questions we have before I get off. I said 10 minutes-ish. I've been on longer than that. All right, so Living Like 519 says consumer versus investor. Yes, you have to have an investor mindset. If you don't have an investor mindset, you're going to be broke. Forget about it. Dante Neal, how are you, sir? Dante, I'm waiting on you, bro. Okay, so Living Like 519 says, let's talk about leaving homes. So I know all the memes are going around saying, don't sell grandma's house. I get it, because grandma's house is in a gentrified area, and many times that could be and is a source of wealth. However, that's just one piece of it. A lot of times we get fixated on one thing. This thing, this wealth thing, this money thing, it's a fluid thing. It's not linear, right? Oftentimes, sadly, with some of our educational systems, they teach us to be linear. You sometimes have to be able to code 2 or 3 ideas in your head at the same time while you're developing the strategy. So you got to be able to think about think about everything between A and Z, and then come back to M and recognize M may be a sore point or a very, very hard and contentious point. Most people can't do that. Most people only think in black and white terms. In my opinion, because again, I'm not trying to be preachy, I'm just sharing my opinion. That is a thing that impedes our progress a lot of time in the community. We have to be able to think about that. So let's go with that, right? Leaving our homes. So we could leave our homes if we acted more like a family a lot of times, right? If a person is down on their luck, they might have lost their job, or they might have a good for nothing baby daddy or baby mama, and they're hard up and they don't have any other help. How can that heir, because that person got the property, how can they maintain that property? How can they realistically maintain that property? And I'm all for being idealistic, right? Dreaming. But you got to add some practicality and pragmatism to it as well. You got to be able to marry the two. You got to be able to marry the two. So if family would come together and say, hey, and listen, I get it too, because sometimes family does do that, and then the person is being greedy and they want to keep all the money, right? So remember, I'm talking in broad generalities. In Philly, we have a lot of home transactions that get sold for $1 from one generation to another. It happens. We have to revisit the idea of family. Now, I talk about money subjects, but I don't really think, and again, this is a family conversation, Black folks. I don't really think money is our real issue. I really think culture is our real issue, and what culture we want to be of and practice of and define for ourselves. But that's a deeper conversation for another time. I can nerd out on y'all. Wasn't trying to do that today. Tell Financial, how are you, sir? Oh, I know Living Legacy, but I like to, and so Living Legacy says, not saying that it's the only way to lose a legacy, right? But when I'm talking to y'all, I'm also trying to talk to or have the conversation or answer the question that people have in their mind that they're not asking either, right? So we see that a lot. So I'm trying to cover all the bases, right? And from what I've seen, what I've experienced, what I've witnessed in my over 20-year career. And so I've seen people lose homes. I've seen, I've seen families fight. Estate planning is a major thing that we all need to be thinking about. It is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Y'all know I've been talking about life insurance. Make sure y'all check y'all life insurance. That's a major part of estate planning. Do you have enough life insurance? Here we are back to questions. Will your life insurance take care of your loved ones in the fashion that you want them taken care of? Right? I mean, we should all always have questions and then look to solve those questions. Question religion, question it all, question those answers until those questions are solved. Like, people don't give Jay his props. And I know somebody's going to call me a Jay stan. People say Jay is all materialistic. But if you listen to his first album, which came out in 1996, by the way, Jay-Z's been rapping since like 86. Went out on tour with Big Daddy Kane. But, again, I digress. But if you listen to his first album, Jay-Z was talking about Black unity in various forms in that album. Again, he didn't browbeat folks, but he gave y'all jewels. I dropped jewels, busted. Oh, man, Oswald told me just doing this regular Saturday thing. I said I was only going to be on for 10 minutes, and I wound up being going longer. Living life. I've been talking about life insurance all month. I talked about it on Wednesday. I talked about it the week before that. I'm not going to go over it again. What I'm going to do, though, is hopefully I can try to do it today. I went over basically the 4 types of life insurance, from term, which is no cash, which is the cheapest form, to whole life, which is the most expensive, to which it's the most expensive, and it also generates cash. All right, and it's the most safe. But I'm going to try to go back and find that clip because I went pretty in depth the other day. All right, and just just for the sake of time. But let me get through the rest of these questions. But we can definitely talk about we can definitely talk about all of these things that relate to the community. I'm here for it. Listen, if y'all have topics y'all want me to cover, DM me, email me, text me. Texting me is probably best. So my text number, don't call me, just text me. My text number is 484-278-1357. Again, 484-278-1357. So let's get to the rest of these. Y'all done hijacked the show. I hope y'all recognize that. So Verma says, this is what I understand Snowflake to be better than its competition. Yeah, but they ain't making no money. Oh, and I said we were going to talk about Snowflake. I totally glossed over that. All right, listen. So I am not a fan of IPOs. Just want y'all to know that. I am not a fan of IPOs for your average retail investor like you and I. Why? Why, Kamari? Why don't you like IPOs? They're hot. The media's talking about them. All the corporations have all these ads pumping into our brain. Why don't you like them? I don't like them because they typically lose money. For retail investors, I don't like them because all the retail guys, all the big boys and gals get access to the investments before the public. And so on some days when you see certain things being driven up, on certain IPO days, like Snowflake opened at 125, closed at 250, doubled in one day, there's something wrong with that. All that glitters is not gold. Again, all that glitters is not gold. But then we get hype in that, right? And then we get people that say, oh man, I could have made this. Yeah, that's cool. But what is your investment process? I'm gonna do a show on investment process and developing a professional portfolio as a former portfolio manager. Because yeah, people get lucky all the time. Problem is people don't know that they get lucky. Right? The stock market this year, nobody expected that. Nobody expected when it crashed in February and March that it was going to bounce back and roar back. So, Lady Leo, Snowflake is a company that IPO'd this week. Again, IPO stands for Initial Public Offering. That is the point in time when a private corporation transitions to become public corporation and allows for public investment, inside investment. And Snowflake is a software company. They do a lot of cloud software development. Still not really profitable. Their PE. Do me a favor. Somebody look up Snowflake's PE. If it's published yet. Sometimes it takes a minute to get published. But do me a favor. Somebody look that up. But they haven't made any money. But again, if you follow the stock market and you study the stock market, the stock market primarily is based on the anticipation of profits. People are anticipating these companies to produce profits, make money, put money in their pocket, right? Remember, profit is all your sales minus all your expenses. And that's what you're left with when everything's paid. So what are we basing this on? What is all this interest based on? Right. Yeah, it hasn't calculated yet, but they don't have any earnings. But everybody ran it up. And listen, there are some times where I think it's legitimate. Like you can clearly see a company is going to make money. But they also compete with the likes of Microsoft, AWS, which is Amazon's cloud service, and a few others. So they are relatively small in comparison to them, but their market cap, they're small as it relates to the business that they're doing. But their market cap makes them kind of look like a big boy. So, all right. So Verma Sean says, tell them to hit the thumbs up. Yes, hit the thumbs up. Y'all hit the thumbs up. Y'all hit the thumbs up. All right. Yep. I saw that one. So yeah, Wholesale Diva, if I didn't put a period on that, text me 484-278-1357. Send me your link to your channel. Let me check out what you got. Listen, this is no diss, but I won't do an interview that I'm not really interested in, or at least interested in person. Why? It doesn't make for a good interview with anybody. I'm just being honest, right? Y'all gonna call me. I don't know. You're gonna say, Kamari, this sucks. Because I'm not gonna be enthusiastic about it. All right. So, but yeah, Wholesale. And again, I'm not saying that's going to be you. I'm just being transparent. But just hit me up and let's connect. So again, Chaotic Limited says, I have seen many of my friends use a lot of PayPal and Cash App during the early months of 2020. I think this might stick. Yeah, I think Cash App is definitely going to stick. PayPal is a proven utility. People use it. I think it would definitely be around for a while. Cash App is definitely going to be around for a while. Yep. Thank you very much, Sean. I read something similar to the article you mentioned. I forgot the name, but it was in Business Insider. Yeah, Business Insider does some good stuff, but they got so many ads that run on their site. It drives me crazy, and it's not a great, in my opinion, experience for y'all when y'all just keep seeing ads pop up all over the place. So I have a subscription to Wall Street Journal. I have a subscription to Barron's. Matter of fact, they're owned by the same company. They're both owned by Dow Jones. So I'll share those. And matter of fact, I need to see what I need to do to get a subscription to USA Today and CNN Money, because then I'll use those during the show. Thanks for breaking down the technicals. Absolutely. So Allison's up in NY, the Big Apple, or the state. People forget about the state, right? They just think New York City. Oh, you're in Virginia. You down in the other Commonwealth. All right, you down in Miss Rouse down in North Carolina. North Carolina, stand up. Oh, and Chili, listen, Chili out here, he balling on us. He's stunting on us. He owns PayPal, Amex, and Visa. Being Tamika, how are you? Thanks for joining us. And Living Life 519 just pulled up the market cap for us for Snowflake. It's worth $64.44 billion. First day out the gate, no profits. Makes no sense whatsoever. And listen, they could turn that around. Okay, Wholesale Divas from Chicago, the Shy. What's the 2 part? Chicago 2? Is there a 2? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Duh. Chicago, Illinois. My bad, y'all. Chicago, Illinois, and Cleveland, Ohio. Wholesale nationwide. Nice. Done over 1,000 deals. Oh, you out there? You got a couple of dollars, Miss Wholesale Deal. Can I hold something? Let me hold something. Done over 1,000 deals since 1999. Congratulations. That's what's up. Clearly, you in it to win it. I'd be interested. What do you do during these market cycle swings? Because you've been through a couple booms and busts. You went through the whole 07, 08, 09 segment. What did you do? Did you get out? Did you sit on the pond for a little bit? Did you jump back in? That might be interesting. Oh my God. No. Vermicelli, no, you got to come correct when we talking about cheese steaks. There's no such thing as steak and cheese. I am a Philadelphian through and through. All right, I know you said you don't give recommendations, but what are your favorite steak and cheese? First of all, we don't call it steak and cheese. It's a cheese steak, man. Listen, don't go to any of the tourist spots. Don't go to Pat's. Don't go to Geno's. They get all the tourist attraction, but nobody from Philly goes there. Maybe if you're from South Philly. Maybe. And South Philly is a whole other thing in Philly. It's part of Philly, though. But that's where Pat's and Geno's are. I would tell you to go to either D'Alessandro's, which is on Henry Avenue. Go to D'Alessandro's. Chubby's across the street from D'Alessandro's is just as good. There's a place called Mama's, which is on the outskirts of Philly, like it's in the suburbs. On Mama's, and I think it's Bala Kenwood. They have very good cheesesteaks as well. Those would be, and then you can go to a Jim's. You can go to Escobillo's. That's all I got off the top of my head right now. All right, YouTube channel Wholesale Diva. All right, so y'all check out Wholesale Diva. Subscribe to her channel. Man, there's more. Oh my goodness, there's more comments on here that I've missed. Sorry, y'all. For some reason, the software, I don't know, like sometimes it'll have a whole bunch of comments and then it'll just jump up and then I'll lose place. And all these comments will just kind of flood in the queue. All right. So your recommendations are excellent. Thank you. Get the knowledge up first. If you are interested in stocks, start a fantasy portfolio, invest on paper. State why you would own. Yes, you are correct. You should have a why, ladies and gentlemen. What is your why? Why are you investing? For example, if your why is for retirement, your why for investment is retirement versus your why for investing for college savings. They're two different things. Oftentimes you have two different time frames. Oftentimes you have to approach them totally differently. You shouldn't invest in them the same way. So thank you for that. Vermicelli, you're correct. I'll say this about fantasy portfolios. They're cool. They are cool. They will help you get the basics down. But many people think that if you do well when you're paper trading, you can do well when your real money is at stake. And you can't. Listen, anytime you put money on the line, your emotions are going to come into play. And that's the aspect of it that you don't get from paper trading. There's nothing wrong with paper trading. I actually like it. I agree. But I do want to warn you, like when you get into some of these positions and you see them going left, your heart going to start beating a little bit faster. Some palpitations going to come about. And you're going to be questioning yourself. Not many people have the emotional intelligence to really deal with it. And listen, that doesn't mean you're dumb, and that doesn't mean you can't grow and develop. But it's just like anything. You start to do something for the first time, you might be a little bit nervous. You might be a little bit scared. It might take you a little bit to get into it. All right. So I would just say do that. Recognize that you might lose some money. That's okay. But stay in it to win it. Joe Charlene, how you doing? Thanks for joining. The Wholesale Diva says, speaking on banks, I teach my students to go to 10 banks and open accounts with the same 1K. At end, they have 10K credit lines. Okay, I am not the credit expert. What I will say, cash is more important than credit. I'll tell you that all day long. That is the first rule of finance. But I understand what you're doing. You're looking to get more bang for your buck with the credit, potentially show a higher credit utilization rate or lower credit utilization rate if you use one of those lines. I get it. And I guess, I don't know if you're doing secure accounts or if they're doing the unsecured, but I get it. Chile coming to America. Man, I asked that question like forever ago. They got the Big Mac and we got the Big Mick. Shout out to Eddie Murphy for highlighting black business and coming to America. I just thought about that. Gifts, cash, weekly winner. All right, gifts, cash, weekly winner. Y'all trying to get my money. Y'all trying to get my money out here. All 3 C's are beneficial to building wealth and add insurance. Yeah, I agree. I agree. But but listen, there's steps. You have to order your steps, right? When a baby is first born, the baby's not meant to run. Baby is not meant to run, folks. That's not the progression of things. The baby is meant to crawl. Why? Because the baby has to learn to get their core muscle strong, they get their legs strong so they can walk, right? One thing at a time. Once they can walk, then they can run, right? I say it's like giving the keys to when you have a new driver, right? Just got their license, fresh out, 16 years old, been dying to drive because they want to be independent. It's very much like a rite of passage for many teenagers to become an adult. I know it was for me. I was nowhere near ready to drive a Ferrari, a Lamborghini. Shoot, some of these V8s, Cadillacs. Love me a hog, by the way. Not ready for that. Can't deal with that power. I'm not responsible enough. My reflexes aren't strong enough, right? You're not ready. You got to get ready. So all I'm just saying is, yeah, that can be the goal. Take your time. Everybody's in a rush, always in a rush. Y'all think y'all going to undo 40 years of poverty in 6 months by trading in the market. You think you're going to redo your whole mindset over 6 months in the market. It don't work like that. It just doesn't. And I'm not trying to be dogmatic or bust anybody's bubble. I'm just being honest. Thanks for chiming in with us too, Jamar. How you been, by the way? Jay-Z is a business genius. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman, right? Let me handle my business. God damn. That's right. Brand name. Oh, dang, this goes back to the difference in value. Yeah. These are old. I didn't even see these. I don't even know. Instant gratification versus patience build wealth. Yeah. Get wealthy slowly. And okay. So I want to talk about this real quick, right? Because people hear folks say get wealth slowly. That don't mean you're not going to have opportunities to run, right? But we just saying walk down the street. You got on your suit, you got on your shoes, you're not ready to run. Just walk. But if you see an opportunity, take your suit jacket off and bust out in that sprint. Hit it. Hopefully you got your sneakers tied on your back and you're ready to go. Hit it. Right. So again, that don't mean that you don't seize the moment and hit opportunities. That means that you're deliberate and you're patient with everything that you got going on. Most folks ain't gonna tell you that. Most folks trying to sell you some shit. Excuse me. They're trying to sell you something. But take your time. What I have ain't sexy, folks. I'm sorry to tell you. Melanated out. What's up, brother? Good combo this morning, too, on the gram. Kentisa Rao says the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of the questions you're asking yourself. Anthony Robbins. Yes. Thank you. And I think somebody said it before him, but yeah, I know I probably heard it from him. Again, not trying to plagiarize, but yeah, the better your questions are, the better you are. Allison Thompson says preach. I don't know what part that was for, though. Oh, that was at 2:05 and it's 2:35. So that was 30 minutes ago. And I'm just now saying this. Curtis Davis, thank you, sir. Good show. Thank you. Do the rest of y'all agree it's a good show? If you agree that it's a good show, put a good show. Let me know I'm doing a good job. Put it in the chat. Put good show in the chat for me. Thank you, Curtis. I felt so good about it. I put it up twice. All right. Lorraine D says execution is key. Yeah, it is. It is. Absolutely. Great story. Rothschilds, how they came to power. Yeah. Yeah. They get demonized a lot, but I think anybody that has any kind of modicum of success is open to getting demonized and called a sellout or an opportunist or whatever it is. And I can't call it. Okay, I'm pronouncing it correct. All right. Cantisa, I'm going to try to do my best. Sometimes I forget. I'm getting older. We're going to have to check it out. Yeah, check it out. You talking about that Bitcoin thing. Yep, check it out. By the way, since we're talking about interviews, right? Since we're talking about shows, y'all can actually listen to the shows on the go as well. You can listen to these shows on the go. The podcast is now live. You can listen to it in the car when you're out on the track. Oh man. When you're out and about, you now can listen to the show. All you got to do is Google the Finance Rebel Show. Google the Finance Rebel Show. And most of these chats are going up. Some of them aren't, but most of them are. Sometimes I have to break them down. Matter of fact, so you see Darren Miller, right? Darren Miller was on earlier in the chat. I don't know if he's still here. It's Saturday, so he might be out with the family. But I had a conversation with Darren Miller about investing in sneakers. Anybody thought about investing in sneakers? All right. And so the blockchain show is also up on the podcast. We're looking at the Apple podcast app right now. You can listen to the show on Apple, Google, Stitcher, and Spotify. So listen, do me a favor, go out, listen to the show, rate it, review it, come back and tell me about it. Matter of fact, I had somebody text me yesterday and said they listened to it for the first time and they enjoyed it. So I'm looking to have a world-class show. So I need feedback from y'all. Looking to have a world-class show. I'm looking for feedback from y'all. So, give me y'all feedback. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you want to hear about. There's certain topics I might not ever talk about, but I might bring a guest on to talk about. I only talk about things that I have experience and education in, period. And I do have experience and education in a lot of stuff, but I'm talking about stuff that I do on a day-to-day. If I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm not talking about it. That's my promise to y'all. That is my promise to y'all. All right, so let's get through some more of these stories so I can get out of here. I need some vittles. I'm getting hungry. Yeah, so you're going to check it out. Yep. 100.3 DAS back in, and this is back in the 80s, Chili. This wasn't even in the 90s. I don't think they were black owned in the 90s, but I'm not sure. Yes, blockchain, new tech, always better to get info early. There is a blockchain. There's a black blockchain Facebook group too that's run really, really well that Talisha Shine also runs also. Yes, Allison, sometimes you can sell grandma's house to make a better investment. Yes. And that was the part that I didn't get to say earlier, but we got to think about it sometimes. Somebody shared a story earlier and they said that the father had amassed over 50 doors, over 50 properties, right? So anytime you hear somebody say doors, they're typically talking about properties or units. Because like if you have a triplex, that's 3 doors. But father had 50 doors. He died. The kids sold it. No. Let me back up. The kids lost it to taxes. Why? I don't know. Hey, Kelly. Shout out to Kelly, y'all. Another black-owned business, Kelly's Closet, the largest plus-size lingerie manufacturer in the country. Shout out to Kelly's Closet. Everybody follow Kelly's Closets on IG. Kelly's Closets is spelled with a K. Closet spelled with a K and a Z. So, Allison, back to your point, maybe some of these kids, when we think about this, we have these big dreams. Like I'm seeing a lot of people say, well, I'm going to build a business and I'm going to leave it to my children. What if your child doesn't have the capability of running the business? What if they have no interest in running the business? Why are we so infatuated with trying to tell our children what to do? And I'm guilty of that too, just to be totally honest and transparent. But when I talk about that is I'm not telling my kids I want them to run a business. I'm saying I might want them to go to school. I want them to get educated. I want them to be lifelong learners, not to commit to a business that they may not have any interest in. They might find boring. And again, that's what I talked about earlier about being the mix between being pragmatic and idealistic. You need a good blend of both. You need a good blend of both. So that was a great point. Oh, TV is linear. Yes, Chili. TV is linear, but YouTube, Disney are non-linear. Yes, because you can watch them when you want, where you want, how you want. I agree that IPOs are for the big money, definitely not for the retail investor. In the beginning, yes, in the beginning. So let me, again, put another period on a sentence, right? When I say IPOs, IPO is just the day that it comes on board. So I don't advise anyone to do IPOs. I say, wait, if you think the company is that great, just wait. Wait. It's like if you're dating, right? And you meet the gal or the guy of your dreams, and maybe they're not ready, but you know they're the gal or the girl of your dreams. Just wait. You ain't got to force it. You ain't got to try to finesse it. You ain't got to massage it. All you got to do is wait, and it'll happen, right? So, and the other thing is a lot of times you got to, when you're thinking about the stock market and just wealth building in general, you got to make sure you're in the proper mindset. You are in the proper mindset. There's an abundance mindset and there's a poverty mindset. Abundance typically feel that there's always opportunities out there. Poverty mindsets tend to think that, man, that's the only opportunity that I'll ever have. Now, am I saying that you shouldn't try to seize on opportunities when they're there? Yeah, but I'm also a fervent believer of what's for you is for you. You don't need to finesse it. You don't need to try to do all these antics and backflips and lying. I get a lot of people calling me that want to lie about certain situations that aren't ready for situations, business situations. Can't tell you how many people call me up and ask me, should they make a business to apply for PPP, make a business to apply for EIDL, which also stands for EIDL, which also stands for Economic Injury Disaster Loans from the SBA, from the SBA, right? Also, should they make up a business to take advantage of PUA, which was the unemployment program for business owners? None of that is good stuff. You trying to finesse. Yeah, stick to your trading plan. But for us, stick to your investment plan, right? Hey, Tiffany. Welcome. Thank you for supporting. Tiffany's always sharing my stuff. Tiffany, I be seeing you share my stuff all the time. Remember, for the show, I'm fighting the algorithms, y'all. It's a battle. Hit the like button, share it out, leave a comment. That's how the algorithms know that people like my stuff. So I appreciate y'all. And daggone comments jumped on me again. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, you've been to Max's. All right, so you've been to the hood. You've been to EA. You've been to North Philly. All right, you certified, Burma Sean. You certified. Yeah, so IPOs are not for big money. But again, I would wait, see if it's good, see if it works out. Here's another story. I tell the story pretty often. When I was doing radio, I made a great call. I told people not to buy the Facebook IPO. Bad part about that, I didn't tell people when to jump back in because you can't time the market. I think Facebook IPO it ran up to like 40 something. I can't remember what the initial IPO was. Ran to 40 something, dropped to like 16 or 17, and then it's been bonkers ever since. Hey, Verma, you can't be putting our business out on the street, man. Philly tough like that. Verma says, first time I ever got patted down to buy a cheesesteak was at Max's. Yeah, it goes down at Max's. In that area, in that whole Broad and Alney, Broad and Germantown, Broad and Erie, Germantown and area. It's like 3 streets that come there. So Tilly Davis says, I've been to D'Alessandro's. Yep. Hey, Tiffany, I appreciate you. You're here. I was late too, by the way. I'm snitching on myself. Clearly, I don't believe in the no snitching rule. All right, so the Wholesale Diva says, 2007, we made the most money. Retailers ran away. We did owner finance. During COVID, just got 5 houses under contract yesterday. Deal still out there, willing to share free info on getting into real estate. Okay. All right. I'm waiting on that dollar though. Sound like you getting to that money, getting to the bag. Congratulations to you though, in all seriousness. Wholesale Diva. Credit for business depends on your ROI. I need more, Jamar. Give me more. Give me more. Are you saying use for business credit depends on your ROI? I would disagree with that, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. Can you explain how cash is more important than credit? Melanie, you've been rocking with me for a while, bro. You fan. You part of the rebel tribe. You already know the deal with cash. But I'll say this, right? Again, a lot of people that are selling credit services like to say credit is king. That makes my stomach turn. Listen, credit is very important. I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. I'm not going to sit here and say you shouldn't use credit and leverage to make money. I won't say that. What I will say that there's like $14 trillion in consumer debt that people have no idea how to manage and control. They don't have enough cash to pay down that debt or to manage. And so a lot of times they wind up getting in trouble. At the end of the day, you're always going to need cash. And when I say cash, I'm not talking about the actual bills. I'm talking about the money in the bank. You're going to need cash in the bank and cash to continuously flow through. Cash flow. That is the real key to credit. I mean, that is the real key to wealth. Cash flow is really the key to wealth. You can get lucky sometimes and do some things, but typically it's a whole lot easier when you have good cash flow. Start studying the rich. Even if they're in the real estate, right? And they do rentals, they have good cash flow somehow, some kind of way. If they are a rehabber, they might buy a house and do a cash out refi after they buy it and they sell it. IG, my time is up yet again. I said I was only going to be on for another 10 minutes to finish up the questions, and I went longer. So listen, I'm gonna come right back. This time I'm really going to stick with a big man tech. Welcome, Proverbs 31. Welcome. I'm coming right back. So come back and join me. Kelly, come back and join me. So, oh man, this is crazy, y'all. Y'all had me on for a while, and I got stuff to do. I hope y'all appreciating this. But no, like I said, I get something from all this too. Oftentimes I don't have people that I could even talk about money with in my circle. I have my professional friends, obviously. But then when I look out and I see what's going on in the community and I see just some of the bad, destructive decisions that are made, it always makes me wince. Always makes me wince. So I come and hang out with y'all. But again, to your question, Melody Alton, even if you do feel that credit is king, you're still going to need cash to pay the credit bill. You're still going to need cash to satisfy the loan. You're still going to need cash to make sure you have a good credit rating. Because what impacts your credit rating? Non-payment of bills. What impacts your credit rating? Having, and again, I'm not the credit expert. This is the stuff I got by osmosis, is helping my clients with mortgages and other business loans and personal loans, even sometimes. What affects your credit? Non-payment. What affects your credit? Having used too much of your credit. So Wholesale Diva just talked about some of the tricks and secrets and tips she gives to her students. And one of them was basically opening up about 10 grand worth of credit. I would bet she doesn't tell them to use 50 to 75% of their credit lines, though, because it's going to mess up the FICO score. By the way, and the FICO scores are all rigged, right? So please, I'm not out here caping for the man in the corporate interest. I'm just telling you that if you want to work the system and you want to achieve the system at the toppest level, at the top heights, you have to understand the system. You have to understand the game. Many of us want something for nothing, and we don't want to understand the system or the game. It is a game, sadly. Is it fair? No. Who cares about fair? We all adults here. I'm sure all of us with children. Again, I'm sure all of us with children tell our children all the time, life ain't fair. It's a reality. It's not. But what do? Do you just give up? Do you just cry? No. You pull up your boots, you tie them tight, and you get to work. Not to be confused with pull yourself up by your bootstraps. All right. But yeah, so cash will always be more important than credit, or at least cash flow. Well, cash and cash flow. So I hope I answered your question out, and let me know if I didn't. I can go a little bit deeper. So yes, Jamar, baby steps. Absolutely. Right. A good friend at 17 bought a Corvette. It lasted 2 weeks. Damn. Grand opening, grand closing. Had that vet. He was probably balling. Was it red? Doing good. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thanks for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great show. Got another great show. Good show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Monica Taylor Jackson, how are you, ma'am? Good job. Good show. Thank you. Appreciate you. Y'all making my day today. I guess that's why I stayed on an extra hour with y'all. Tiffany says, great show. Appreciate you. Melody Alton says, excellent show. I came in around 2 p.m., so I couldn't wait to see the replay. All right, my man, thank you. Be sure to share the replay with someone too, Alton. Please, 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 please. All right, Tiffany says she's got me on Spotify. Ms. Rouse says, amazing show today. Financial education is always a plus. Thank you for simplifying the finance world. My pleasure. Be sure to let me know what topics y'all want me to cover too. Because, you know, sometimes they call it the curse of knowledge because I've been around for so long. I think stuff that's not important that y'all might think is important or everybody thinks important isn't important. Not that I won't cover it. I'm just not thinking about it. So I need y'all help too. So help me, help you. Help me, help you so I can make the show as best as possible. Yes, because your kids, absolutely, yes. And Jamar is going back to the whole thing about generational wealth, about your children running your business, about your children running your rental properties. I mean, he's right. Your kids need skills. They need skills. I agree with Allison. Many of the homes we purchase are from the grandkids. They don't want to keep grandma's house. Nora, oh, I got you. Okay, so Wholesale Diva says, I agree with Allison. Many of the homes that she purchases in her wholesaling are from the grandkids. They don't want to keep grandma's house, nor have the knowledge to manage the property. Sad but true, education is needed. And that is a major thing about gentrification. Hey, Kelly, welcome back. Hey, Sylvia, how are you? Right? That's a major thing. And like all of us are mad about gentrification. And listen, there's a whole bunch of shenanigans that go on with gentrification. Deeds getting stolen, things like that. But if we want to really participate in gentrification on a community level, we should be buying our own homes. And we can do that. We should be buying the properties in our hood. Furthermore, I'm going to say this. I'm in Philly. Philly is always called a trashy city, a dirty city. I see people drop whole McDonald's bags of trash out of their car. Now, when I was younger, I did drop certain things out of my car, maybe a cup, not a whole trash bag though. So I don't get that. But one of the things I feel we should do is we need to get back to community cleanings. Like there's no reason why our communities look as dirty as they do. That impacts our overall quality of life. And just start it yourself. Just get out there with your broom and maybe some water and just sweep. I believe in really being a good neighbor. I'm not going to go into it today, but I'm going to tell y'all a story about some of my neighbors. But if your neighbor needs their grass cut their grass. It's going to help you in the long run too. It's going to help keep your home values up too. But again, we have to take more pride in ourselves. Wholesale Diva, all right, we about to be BFFs. You out here moving these bricks. Jokingly, bricks, y'all. Don't take me serious. And sharing, but thank you so much. So Jamar says, talk about finances and business all day. Yeah, but Jamar, you part of the team. You in business. You part of the Black Nerd Society like me, or the Black Money Nerd Society. Maybe I should create that, the Black Money Nerd Society. What do y'all think about that idea? Takes skill to understand cash flow. Refi properties. Equity takes a plan. Yeah, I agree. I can't tell y'all how many times I've had clients that have refied their properties and paid down their debt. And what do you think they did? They ran their debt back up. So basically they took on the debt to create an opportunity for themselves. The debt got them the cash, right? I want y'all to be clear. The refi got them the cash. So everything I say makes sense. Like I do this, I study this. Like I went to school for finance. And I worked with my dad, who was an accountant since I was a toddler. But point being is it all comes back to cash. And we don't understand that key point. And again, not to be confused with saying credit's bad. It's not. No financial instrument is bad. What's bad is bad financial strategy. Life insurance, not bad. Mutual funds, ETFs, stocks, bonds, leveraged credit default swaps, they're not bad. They're just using bad strategy. And that's when you see things blow up. Have good strategy, folks. So in order to have good strategy, you kind of got to understand the theory and how it applies. Because at the end of the day, it's about applying and executing. So in business, you need to know how much cash to have and credit to have, the right ratio, right? Because when your ratios are out of whack, your credit gets impacted severely. And listen, everybody's trying to look for a reason to deny you, just to be honest with you. And so you need to remove all of those reasons. Thanks for that breakdown. I agreed already, by the way. I just wanted your opinion. No, that's cool. I figured as much. Because you are a part of the tribe. Alton, you be here. You stay here. You live here. I think you need to hit the basics of budget in the community and how even a small savings is needed. All right, I'll do that. I don't really like talking about budgeting. Well, you know what? I do talk about budgeting, but I'm not the super duper budget freak. I'm the pay yourself first guy. And I'm also the guy, like I'm sitting here talking to you about not buying big brands. Like, so I don't do stuff. Like my hobby is this. I do have a camera, so I am getting more into that, but I'm not into cars like that. I'm not into jewelry. I don't even really wear my wedding ring, which drove my wife crazy for years, but I just don't do it. The only reason I have this watch on is because I use it for training and running and heart rate monitor and stuff like that. I would never wear anything. It's just not my thing. I do like some watches that I might get as I get older and put some money away when it makes some sense when the kids are square. But I don't really have any of those what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? Of those vices. I don't have any of those vices. So, I'll eat out and I'll buy coffee sometimes. That's my thing. And yeah, sometimes if my cash flow is funny, because there are times when I'm battling with clients to pay me on time, I got to make coffee at home. But I'm self-aware of that. But again, I'll cover budgeting. I'll definitely cover budgeting. I think there's so many people covering budgeting, but I'll do budgeting. That's not a problem. That's a great one. I'm actually going to write that one down, Tiffany. I don't know if you noticed, Tiffany, I was going through my mental gymnastics there. It's all on the way how you use them. What we talking about, Allison? What's all on the way and how we use them? We talking about the budget or the cash? Oh, you probably talking about credit. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. It's all on the way and how you use them. So I appreciate everyone here. I've been rocking for 3 hours with y'all. It was only supposed to be on for originally an hour and a half. So I gave y'all double time. Gave y'all double time on a Saturday. All right. So now I got to go do some more chores. I got to go to IKEA because I need to rearrange my office and make it a bit more efficient. Can we get like a black-owned IKEA? Can a bunch of us get together and create that? I give IKEA a lot of money. We were talking about cheesesteaks, right? Earlier. Can we get a black-owned cheesesteak store? Can we get a black-owned pizza store? There's not one in Philadelphia that I know of. You know what? X that. Take that back. There are some Muslim folks, brothers and sisters who do have some cheesesteak stores. I don't know of any black-owned pizza stores. We spend a lot of money on pizza. I'm just saying, can we be strategic and start and going after areas, not just because black folks spend money there, but because black folks spend money there. I'm just saying, can we do some of that? But listen, I've ranted long enough. Y'all hung out long enough with me. I think y'all like the background. Y'all like the banner. So the story I was going to tell you about the banner is That first logo, the caricature of me, that's supposed to be me. I think he might be prettier than me though, in actuality, right? But the first caricature of me, that was like my first logo that I did. And folks, so let me back up. That was the first caricature, first logo that I did, and it has Ask Kamari on it, right? Because when I started, all I would do was answer people's questions that I'm still doing now, because I enjoy it and it's helpful. Like it's something that's impactful and useful and tactical that they can do right away. Allison says, like my soothing voice. Oh, now don't be out here flirting with me. But thank you, Allison. I appreciate you. But a lot of people didn't like that. They didn't like that caricature. They said it was unprofessional. They said they didn't want to get money advice from a cartoon. Now, the whole reason why I did that was because, again, most of my folks are Black. I'm talking to the Black community. And at the time, I did have other clients. I still have other clients, people from other community. And I was worried about scaring away clients. But the reason why I did it was because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to present something different to the community. I wanted to make finance fun. I wanted to make money fun. Oftentimes, it's not fun. And so that's why I did that. But for a while, I shied away from it. I didn't use it as much. Why? I listen to somebody else's opinion. Not to say that you shouldn't listen to somebody else's opinion, but there's some things. No, Allison, I'm just playing. Like, please, I get it all the time. The older ladies, they get X-rated with me. They get X-rated. But I listened to somebody else's opinion. I cared about somebody else's opinion, right? And I'm not double-minded when I say this. Yeah, you are supposed to care about opinions to a certain degree. But if it's something that really resonates with you, rock out with it. Do you think Michael Jackson, when he wore the one rhinestone or sequence glove, people really rock with that? No, but it was his glove and he made it his, and now it's legendary. It's monumental, right? But I let people get into my head about that caricature, and I shouldn't have. I should have just rocked with it. I should have said, F y'all, I'm a rock. Because at the end of the day, that is me and I am him. And the same thing that y'all come to see me for every week is the same thing that God represents. And so I should have rocked out with that intention the whole time. So I say all that to say, hey, Tara, thanks for joining. I say all that, by the way, I'm kind of talking about the story. Tara, I asked Tara her opinion about the banner before I got it printed. Tara, how do you like the banner? But all along, I should have said, you know what, F people, right? Because y'all are nice. Y'all are nice. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are part of the Rebel tribe. There are some people that inbox me. There are some people that leave comments that are wild. They be wilding, y'all. They be wilding. And I've learned to shut them out. And so, again, I've learned to shut them out. Come in. I've learned to shut them out because they're not in my best interest. Hi, son. How can I help you?
I was going to ask you if you could take me to East Norton Township Park.
Okay, thanks for broadcasting your location to all around the world. But it's cool. And yes, maybe. Maybe. Everybody say hi to my son. That's my son, Solomon.
Hello, financial rebels.
He makes fun of me. He actually makes fun of when I do all this. And he likes to do these impersonation type voices. And so he's like, hello, Finance Rebel Tribe. He won't do it now because he's trying to act like he's shy. But getting back to the moral of the story, listen, y'all, do y'all. Be courageous. If you got a caricature yourself, or if you've got something that you feel strongly about, at the very least, test it. At the very least, put it out. Just make sure that whatever you do, your intention is to put quality out. All right. Make sure you put quality out. Make sure you put love into everything you do. And then let the chips fall where they may. That's all we can ever really do anyway. But sometimes we like to add a little bit extra to the sauce that don't need to be added. Sometimes, I don't know, do y'all like sugar in y'all spaghetti and y'all spaghetti sauce? Well, sometimes folks put a little extra, too much sugar, and then it's sweet. The sugar is only supposed to be added to the spaghetti just to cut the bitterness of the tomatoes. But now, again, I'm going on a rant. I'm showing y'all my nerd side. I did promise to show y'all this at the top of the show. When the Kaizen investor said she liked my sweatshirt. Listen, you can find all my stuff at the Finance Rebel apparel store. I'll put the link in the description as well. I got coffee mugs. I got long sleeve tees, short sleeve tees, and hoodies. I got cases, cell phone cases, and a few other things. And I'm thinking about starting to do more things with apparel that are very driven to financial education. And this is the thing. I wanted to show y'all the new logo, which I'm sure y'all seen. Y'all just might have not ever noticed. So that is the logo that'll be on a lot of the new shirts going forward. What is that? Stupid ad. Will you leave me alone? They don't be wanting to leave me alone. So that's the logo right there. That's what I was talking about at the top of the show. So if you like my stuff, you like what I'm doing, go on over to the Finance Rebel apparel store. You can find it. It'll be in the description, and it will be in my bio on IG, everyone. So listen, everybody, have a great weekend. Put together something great. Remember, consumers stay poor, investors get money. Y'all got to be in the Get Money Club. All right. So I'll see y'all later. Y'all all have a great day and enjoy this day off, because it ain't that hot. It ain't that cold. Get outside and do something and drink y'all water. Later, y'all. Have a great day.